Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and today we're going to be playing pacing back and forth from FullDeck and missing a few cards. Now, I had a quick look at the grid, and I think this is a bit of foreshadowing on their part. It is clearly going to be a case of we're going back and forth across the grid to try and solve this particular one. One quick thing, however, some admin things before we get onto today's puzzle. There was a comment yesterday about yesterday's puzzle where initially I somehow maintained my Sudoku blindness, consistently stating that my solve is correct. And then somebody genuinely pointed out that no, you are seeing a line that doesn't quite exist. Anyway, if any of this doesn't make sense, don't worry, it doesn't concern you. If, however, this does ring a bell, yes, I did actually make a mistake in yesterday's solve, and I will post a short later today. Sorry, I just didn't get around to it, to actually show the correct solve path. It'll be like a minute long. Hopefully, I'm not going to be making a habit of creating these shorts to fix some of these issues, but I seem to be making these mistakes regularly. Fingers crossed, lesson learned. I'm going to take my time, solve this one a little bit more gracefully. And anyway, hopefully that will be another foreshadowing. Let's take a look at today's puzzle and rule set with pacing back and forth by FullDeck and missing a few cards. And the following set of rules. I like the fact that up front, these guys always say, well, it's standard Sudoku, palindromes, cages, and ratio pairs, crop keys. So if you're familiar with all of this, you know what to do. Link is in the description down below for you to jump into it. Just on the off chance that you don't, quick walkthrough of these rules. Standard Sudoku, place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, if I can even select one, and then of course every 3x3 box. Then we have the palindromes. Digits along a palindrome line, which is these grey lines, read the same forwards as backwards along the line. So let me just kind of make up something. This is 1, 2, 3. Well, this will have to be 1, 2, 3. So that 1, 2, 3 is the same forwards and backwards. Cages, digits and cages cannot repeat and must sum to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. So these 3 cells, for example, have to add up to 8. These 3 cells have to add up to 10, 16, etc. Have I got an example? So in here, for example, I've already placed 1. That means these 2 cells have to add up to 15. So that could be 7 and 8. That would be a valid set of digits for this particular cage. Last but not least, we've got ratio pairs. Cells separated by a black dot are in a 2 to 1 ratio. If this cell was a 2, forget this 2, and obviously that 2. This cell, which is separated by a black dot, would have to be in a 2 to 1 ratio. One number is double the other. 1 or 4 would be a valid pencil mark here. So, fairly straightforward set of rules. As always, to play, link will be in the description down below for you to do so. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock and see how I get on. Right, let's start the back and forth. So some of these cages, I'm going to start with this one actually. 8 in 3 cells has to have a 1. Now, when you look at the other side of this palindrome, we have a 15 cage, which means 1, whilst possible, is actually quite difficult. 1 in this cell, we'll put a 1 in here, we'll put a 2 in there, and then suddenly I have to get to 13. That's not going to happen. 1 in here, I think is still a problem. As in if I place a 1 in here and the palindrome bounces it back, I think that's still a problem because the maximum I can make this is 4, 8. So if you think about black crop key dot digits, 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, and 4, 8. Essentially, the maximum sum I can ever have on a black crop key dot set is 12. So that's not going to work. First digit, that's a 1. Let's keep going with the black crop key dots sets. So we said the maximum I can have is 4, 8 and adding up to 12, which is perfect because to get to 21, this is the maximum. A 9 in here to get me 9 plus 12 to get to 21. A 9 in here gives me a 9 in there. A 22 cage minus the 9, I think there's 2 ways left to do it. Is that correct? Essentially, I'm left to get to 13, which is 6, 7, or 5, 8. 6, 7, 5, 8. I'm just going to focus on the palindromes. So this cell has to be the same as this cell. Well, the only shared digit between them is an 8. Therefore, that's a 4. And to get to 13, that's a 5. We should actually think, I mean, I don't know why I jumped off to 15. It's just since we had this up. Again, one of these, yeah, so the remaining two digits have to add up to 7. It's either 2, 5 or it's 3, 4. One of these has to be all the way down here. Yes, one of these two is on the palindrome, both of them are, but one of them is going to be on the black Kropke dot. So it's the 2, 3, or 4 which are valid. You can't have a 5 on here. Half of 5 is 2.5, double of 5 is 10. 2 with a 4 would make it, that's 11. That's not going to happen. And since I can't have a 5, that tells me these are 3, 4 pairs. 3 with a 6. Sorry, the 3, 4 pairs are in here. I don't know why I just kind of went off the rails a bit. They add up to 7. That means that's an 8 to get to 15. That's a 4. That's a 3. And that's a 3. That's a 4. So that's one back and forth done. This is very nearly a second back and forth done. We have a few more to go. Let me have a think about. No, the 10 cage, less exciting. Right, so the 8 cage, there has to be a 1 in it again. It can't be this cell because it would bounce back in here in conflict with Sudoku. So one of these is a 1. Question is it that 1 or not? 1 inside a 10 cage is perfectly fine. If it isn't, it has to be 2, 3, 5. So this would be 2 or 5. This would be 2, 3, 5. This would mean this is, well, it's not 3 either. So this is not the 3. That would have to be the 3. And essentially we'd end up with 2, 5, which adds up to 7, and this is a 1. So long story short, I haven't proven anything. I don't actually have to have a 1 inside that 10 cage. Although the 2, 3, 5 seem really smooth, that is probably correct. Probably, not definite. 9 in 3 cells, again, doesn't have to have a 1. I guess this is the best next thing. It's not, I mean, it is, they're equally far apart as 8 and 15. In this case, we've got 9 and 16. So options for 9 is 1, 2, 6, 1, 3, 5, and 2, 3, 4. Now, if I take the best options I have, 6 and 2 gives me 8, which would require another 8 in here. 3 and 5 would give me 8. 3 and 4 would give me 7. And obviously, none of them. All right, let me step back. These digits are in here. So if I'm looking at the maximum digits I can put in here, 2 and 6 would be 8, leaving me a remainder of 8. That's not going to work. But 1 and 6 is a 7, and that would leave me a remainder of 9. That is going to work. And you're going to see very quickly, 3, 5, same challenge. In fact, 1, 3, 5 just doesn't work because I can't get to 7 to place a 9. And 3, 5, which gives me a remainder of 8, is not allowed. Lastly, we've got 2, 3, 4, where I can have 3 and 4 adding up to 7, and then a 9 left. So long story short, 1, 3, 5 doesn't work. 1, 2, 6 and 2, 3, 4 do. Now, if it is 1, 2, 6, because these two digits are the ones that bounce in here, essentially I want these two cells to add up to 7. So essentially this would have to be 1, 6 with a 2, or 3, 4 with a 2. So there's always a 2 in here. And it's either 1, 6 or 3, 4. And this is 1, 3 or 4, 6. Not quite a resolution. We'll keep going, I guess. Let's just keep looking for other cages. 8 and 10 just doesn't feel very useful. It's a bit too close. 17 and 12, pretty close again. 16 and 10, you're only sharing 1 digit. Getting a bit trickier now. Getting a bit trickier. I feel like I'm gonna have to go for this 8 cage because of the 1. Right, so two ways of doing 8, 1, 2, 5, 1, 3, 4. These two cells are in here. This is not 1, 3, 4. So I know this cell cannot be 1, 3, or 4. This is out of the, kind of off the table. This is therefore 2, 5. It's not the 1. I remove the 1 because it jumps in here. That's 2, 5. Let's talk about 10 for a second. So 1, 2, 7. Yeah, which shares enough digits with 1, 2, 5 for it to work. 1, 3, 6, 1, 4, 5, and of course 2, 3, 5. So that's all the ways to get to 10 in 3 cells. Now with 1, 2, 5, so because I'm sharing 2 of the digits, I need these potentials to share 2 of the digits with 1, 2, 5. Not enough, is enough, is enough. So it doesn't quite give me enough information, but admittedly I am not entirely using Sudoku. In fact, neither of the two could be a 4. No 4, no 4. So the shared digit, well, it was never a 4 anyway. So 1, 4, 5 can still work. Essentially in here I'm sharing the 1 and 2. In here I'm sharing the 1 and 5. In here I am sharing the 2 and 5. So I don't even have any common digits. This, because I'm not sharing the 1, I'm obviously always using one of the 2 5s. This, however, which is in here, because I'm sharing one of the 1, 2 5s, it doesn't have to be the 1. I can have a 2, 5 pair. So this is still just 1, 2, 5. This is 1, 2, 5. I'm not moving forward, am I? And then this could be 7. Hang on. I should have removed the 1, 4, 5 option because it was never that. Or 3. And essentially, get that one. So this is 2, 3, 5. This is 2, 5. So we're always sharing a 2, and then it's either a 1 or 5, which admittedly, because the 1 can be here, the 5 can actually still be there. Can't it? No. I'm always sharing a 2. So if the 1 is here, that's a 2. If the 5 is up here, that's not 1. So it is a 2, 5 pair. Forcing a 3, this feels very surprising. Before I absolutely commit to this. No, I could have 1, I could have 2, I could have 7, and then 1, 2, and 5. Right, yeah, that's not a resolution. Okay, that is the best we're going to do right now with this. I need more of the grid filled to stand a chance of resolving it. Well, black crop culottes. So I kind of removed this a bit too prematurely. 1, 2, 7, 1, 3, 6, 1, 4, 5, 2, 3, 5, which is essentially all the options in here. This cannot be from 1 to 7. This can't be 2. It could be 1 with a 2. Feels unlikely, but possible. What else? Actually, 1 and 2 would force this to be 5, would force this to be 2, would force this to be 3. That's still fine. Right, that hasn't helped. So 1 and 2 is good. From 1, 3, 6, of course, I could have 3 and 6. And then these two cells add up to 10. That seems quite achievable. Then, of course, I could have 4 with 2 or 8. Is 8 fine? 2 cells that add up to 8. If I only remove the 4 and 8, I think I'm going to be just fine. Am I going to be just fine? If this is 4 and this is 8, yeah, I can have 2, 6. Because I can't have 1, 7, I can't have 3, 5. No, I could. 1, 7, 2 means this could be 3, 5. Yeah, I'm not doing too well today. Okay. Interesting. 4 is in one of 2 cells. Let's do a bit of Sudoku. 3, 2, 5. This cell is the same as this cell. And this one in the middle can be anything. It's free. If I have a 4 in here, I have a remainder of 14, which wouldn't be 6, 8. No, it can be. This could be 8, this could be 6. What am I doing today? It can't be 5, 9. The 9 sees both cells. So 4 in here with 8 and 6, and then bounces back as 6, and then 2 cells that add up to 10. Perfectly fine. Highly achievable. These 2 cells are the same. Oh, hang on. I kind of went off the rails a bit with these pencil marks. Right, Sudoku says 5 is not here. 5 on this palindrome would put it in conflict with this 5. So 5 is in one of these 2 cells. 5 is in one of these 3 cells. 5 in here puts a 5 in there, so that's not going to work. 5 inside the 17 cage with 2 cells adding up to 12. Again, very easy. Is it very easy? It's not 4, 8. It wouldn't be 5, 7 because we're repeating. It could be 3, 9 with a 3 in here and 9 in here, which would place a 9 in there. So I think the answer is no 5. Is a 5. I'm just going to double check everything I'm doing today. 5, not 4, 8, not 5, 7, 3, 9. 9 couldn't be in here. 9 couldn't be in there. Yeah, happy with that. Nines are not there. 9s are in one of 3 cells. Too many options. Probably move on. Any more obvious Sudoku? If that's 5, that's 2, that's 3. So 5 is still perfectly allowed in here. Yeah, 18 and 16, they were just way too close. That wasn't useful. I mean, 12 and 17 do share 2 cells. So that's probably the next one to explore, despite being relatively close. 3 cell cages that add up to 12, not exactly natural for me. So we have the options that include 1, so 2 cells that add up to 11, 2, 9, 3, 8, 4, 7, 5, 6, plenty of options. The options that only include a 2 but not 1. So we need to get to 10. 1 is off, 2 is off, 3, 7 is on, 4, 6 is on. And then, of course, the last option, which doesn't include 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5. 17 and 3 cells. It's almost kind of the opposite of this. It's not quite. They don't add up to 30 together. So it's not quite the same. If anything, it's almost more... No, it's more restrictive than 12. So there'll be the option that includes 9. Remainder to get to 8, which is 1, 7, 2, 6, and 3, 5. 9 without the 8. 8 without the 9, because that would be impossible. 8, and then we're left with 2 cells that add up to 9, which are going to be 4 more. This is not working out well. No. Actually, that stays. This goes. Lots of common digits, basically. Hang on, this 4, 6 also goes. So these two cells, let's just think about what Sudoku tells us. It's not 1, it's not 9, it's not 2, it's not 4, it's not 8, it's not 5. What am I left with? 3, 6, 7. These two, I would say less exciting. Far less exciting. It's just not 3, 4, or 5. Can I get away with a 1? Short answer, yes. 1, 7, 9. 7, 1, 4. So tons of pencil marks, tons and tons of options. We are definitely pacing. We are definitely pacing. Half tempted to color the palindromes are the same. So, right, the 16 and 18 also share 2 digits. Maybe I need to be doing more arithmetics. Right, since these two cells and these two cells are the same, what it essentially is saying is that this digit has to be 2 more than this digit, which removes the 8, otherwise that would have to be 10. 17, I can't believe it took me so long to see this, means that this cell has to be bigger than this cell, the difference between 17 and 12, by 5. That's going to massively limit my options. And it's not 3, it's 1, 2, or 4. And then add 5 to it, well, it's 6, 7, or 9. The 2 or 6 to be 2 more on top of that is 4 or 8, which it isn't. So that's definitely 4, that's definitely 2, that's definitely 1. This was useful. I should have done this earlier. 4 plus 5 is 9. Not a 2. We always said there had to be a 2 in here that's shared between them from the 3 options I listed. So essentially the 1 or 5 goes with a 2. And because they're sharing, goodness me, what were you doing, Sleuth? Digits in here, 2 of them. The difference between these two has to be, come on, you've got this 2. So the 3 would have to lead to a 1, the 7 would have to lead to a 5. And then, of course, I've removed the 2 in here, and I've added the 2 in here. Oh, well, 1, 5 pair. The most complicated root, of course, the 1 gave me a 5, which gave me a 3, gave me a 5, gave me a 1. And I think I finally understood the puzzle. Took me a while. Be kind later in the comments. Right, these two cells, well, now that we've kind of established a few things, this is a 9. These two cells have to add up to 8. It's not 7, 1, so 7 is off. 6, 2 works, 3, 5 doesn't. So 6, 2, 2, 6. That does add up to 12. How did I miss that option of 2, 4, 6? No, I didn't. I said 2 with 2 cells add up to 10. Yeah, I just didn't enumerate them. What else? Less interesting, because it's a middle palindrome cell. They're the same, So maybe a bit of Sudoku. So 1, 2, 4, 5. This 8 can't be in here. 8 is in there. 8 would, if it's in here, would be 10 with a 6 possible. 6, 8, 4. I'm sure it would add up correctly. So 1, 2. I need 3, which is anywhere. 4, 5, 6, which is actually with. Let's try that again. 6, 8 pair. 3, 7 pair. makes this 6, 8 bounce up in here, which is not a 6. That's 8. That is 6. And, oh, hang on, 8. That is 6. Make sure the numbers add up. And that's 6 again. That's a 6. 3 or 7. I think we've almost sorted out the palindromes now. These two cells include a 1. That's a 3. That's a 3. That's a 4. That's a 4. And then I need 1 and something. Actually, let's just finish this. 1, 2, by the looks of things. And then this is the remaining digit of 7, which gives me a 8 over here. No. No. What are you doing, Sleuth? That's an 8. I already have a 2. That's a 7. That's 1 or 7. That's the 7. This is the 1. That's the 9. That's another 9. And that's kind of the variant done. I made this way harder than it really was, but that's all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 5 are in here. This is a 7. This is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 in here. That's 9. That's 7. If there's such a thing as scanning school, I think I need to go back to it. Because I am making this look way harder than it really is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. Not 9, not 9. 9, 6, 8, 6, 8. Not 1, not 1, is 1. 7, 1, 1. Variant definitely done now. Sudoku says 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 is not here. Here, that's a 2, 6 pair. That's 5, 7. That's 8, 9. That's the 8. That's the 9. That's the 6. That's the 8. That probably means 2 in here. 6 in there. I need 5 or 7 with something else. A 4. That's the 4. That's the 5. That's the 7. That's the 5. Then I need a 7 and an 8. 3, 5. 4. 6. If I've not made any more mistakes, 7 for the finish. Excellent puzzle from FullDeck and missing a few cards. I can't believe it took me so long to see that this is just simple maths. That was incredible. Did I even select the right ones? Let's try that again. Yeah, that is all about the differences between the cages when they share two cells. But enough about that, enough said. Hope you guys enjoyed the puzzle, maybe the solve, maybe it'll give you something amusing in the morning to enjoy. And I'll see you back soon. Bye-bye for now.